today I'm here to present something that I like to call Shine Online. And I'm going to walk you through 5 keys to being able to be heard in your videos. Because here's the thing, you go through all the effort of recording a video. You know, I was listening to everybody when they're saying their hang-ups and the things that are causing them to maybe feel a little, uneasy, pulling out the camera and hitting record, and like, how many chins do I have, and the bags under my eyes, why do they start at my neckline, all of those things. By the way, I have an enormous nose. I don't know if you noticed that. Huge ears. I actually have right here a mole, and I probably need braces. So my message to you is just embrace you. You are how you look. You are how you sound everywhere you go. You're not fooling anybody. Okay, right? So I want you to finish recording your video, and when you post it, people don't just see you, they hear you. And I don't just mean like background. I mean they're locked in and they're connected with you, whether it's for that 3 to 30 seconds in an Instagram story or reel, or maybe 90 seconds in a YouTube short, or maybe something longer form like this, whether it's live in a Zoom session or perhaps on a YouTube channel that you're developing. So let's dive in. I want to talk about the very first step in this process. And it's funny, when people ask me, what is the number one key to great video? This answer often surprises them. It's clear audio. If you can't really see me because maybe, I don't know, like all the lights are out in my studio and you can't really see me very well, but you can actually hear what I'm saying, you're still locked in. I can still get my message across. Now, don't worry, we're going to talk about lighting in a moment, but the number one key ingredient for a great video is clear audio. Now, the challenge is if they can't hear you, they won't watch you. It's a quick flip of the thumb, or it's a skip on the YouTube channel. And so there's a couple of key ingredients to clear audio I want to talk to you about. The first is ambient noise. Okay, so this is what I want you to be thinking about when you're about to pull out your phone and you're going to go into, say selfie mode, and you're like, okay, here we go. I'm about to do this. I want you to think, am I standing in the middle of a freeway right now? Am I on a playground at recess with a bunch of kids running around? You want to be very conscious of your surroundings. Okay, so that audio that you hear up now, sometimes when you choose a certain style of video, you may say, hey, that actually adds to the story. Sure, but please make sure that the ambient noise around you is not competing with the noise that's coming from your face, because ultimately that's what we want people to hear. The second thing when it comes to audio that you want to be mindful of, and notice I haven't talked about mics yet, that's number 3. The second thing is reflective surfaces. If you could see my studio right now, you would see that I have essentially what used to be wolf blankets. Wade, I used to have wolf blankets around. My interior designer's like, that's pretty tacky. So I replaced them with professional studio grade sound dampening. But a lot of people, they'll go into their bathroom because it's really nice lighting. The challenge with a bathroom video is every dang surface in there is reflective. Unless you're one of those weird people like Wade that has the carpet on the toilet seat. Is that you still have that, Wade?
How did you know that?
Yeah. I see you. Well, it's because I can hear it. I'm like, oh, he's recording in a bathroom with a carpeted toilet seat. It's got its kind of like a unique twang to it. Anyways, so you want to be mindful of that. So ideally, spaces where there's carpet on the floor, where there's furniture, anything that can break up the little sound waves. You'd be amazed. You could be in a very quiet room. So you're like, check 1, Coach B, ambient noise taken care of. But if it's a echo chamber, also going to be distracting. The third piece of audio advice I want to give you is proximity, for what they would refer to in the biz as the source of the sound. In this case, it's our mouth. And so one of the things I want you to observe right now, I'm just going to actually take my earphones. I'm going to talk to you about how much harder it is, even with a great studio mic like this, to hear me as I'm further and further away from the video. And so for us realtors who are like, hey, welcome to my listing at such and such, do you notice how much harder it is for you to hear me than it is right now? Can I get a thumbs up or down? Could you actually hear a difference? Yeah, totally. So one of the things you want to be mindful of when you're recording your videos is how close is the microphone to the source of the sound? In this case, your face, your mouth. So when we're doing selfie videos, that's fairly self-explanatory. Like there's kind of this like awkward middle ground between like, I don't want it to be like how my dad FaceTimes me like this, but I also, don't want to have it pointed all the way in the other room and on like resting on a cushion or something, and I'm 30 feet away because I want to show this palatial pad that I'm looking at. You want to make sure that it's somewhere in this vicinity. Now let's talk gear, because I have gear recommendations for all of you. Please stop using AirPods, team. They are good for hearing. They're good for monitoring. They're terrible for audio. And I heard you speak this morning, Fong, and you're so articulate and you're so thoughtful. and I had a hard time hearing what you were saying because it was cutting in and out pretty consistently. And so this is a common thing. We get these sweet ass $500 AirPods, and then we look so cool and hip, and like we walk around and we're like influencers, and then we record a video and people can't hear what you're saying. It's a really big challenge. So I don't want to throw shade on those in too much. You know, they're definitely great for listening to music on, but honestly, I would take a old school wired pair of earbuds all day long because the microphone is wired in. And guess what? The microphone, they're smart over at Apple. It's right very close to your face. They can actually hear you really well. Now, if you want to be a power user, we can certainly go up the spectrum. I mean, the idea of the microphone that's built into the iPhone, it's a great microphone as long as there's no ambient noise issues or reflective sounds. As we go up the price point, yes, you can get lavalier mics, wireless lavs. I'm going to tell you a challenge at the end where if you complete the challenge, I will personally send you a gear list based on your goal and your budget. So you may include something like this. Now, if you're doing what I'm doing right now, which is more of this broadcast style presentation, you're going to see here, I'm using a microphone that's a little bit more like this. And it's certainly a good way to go, but if you're only doing selfie videos or you're recording for a YouTube channel and whatnot, it's probably going to be overkill. So that's on the audio front, but that moves us into the second key principle of great video, and that is great lighting. So here's the problem. If you're not visible on camera, no one can see you. You lose out on that probably overly used statistic. You know how they say that only 3% of our words are our communication. The other 90% is like tone, body language, inflection, blah, 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 blah. If they can't see you, you're missing out on a lot of that body language. I believe, this is just a little soapbox moment of mine, raw is out, raw and real is in. If you want to be a leader in your industry in 2025 and beyond, it's not about raw anymore. It's not even about scripting and teleprompting, in my opinion. It's really about being you. And if you want to safeguard yourself, your business, your brand from AI, be yourself, because that is the one competitive advantage we all have. So when it comes to lighting, we want to make sure people can see that competitive advantage, and not just the big hand gestures, but even the micro movements in your face, because this is how we can create emotion. Like if I'm having a reflective thought, or, you know, if I'm trying to be stupid, like I am most of the time, this is my stupid face, and it's like what I wear most of the day. We want to be able to see that. Now, the easiest solution to make sure that people can see you is standing in front of a window. Have you ever been on a Zoom call with a friend where their window is behind them? There's no light in front of them, and it looks like you're in the middle of a hostage negotiation video. It's like send proof of life. You can barely see them. It's just a dark silhouette. That happens a lot. So what you want to do is make sure that the brightest light source is in front of you, coming at you, lighting your face. And honestly, I'm going to show you some gear here, but the window, it's the best lighting you can get. You want to be careful about the direct sunlight, but anytime it's an overcast day or the sun's in another direction, honestly, I would leverage that sunlight as best you can. So let's talk about some gear. I hope no one's catching a stray here, but I'm just going to tell you, please stop using ring lights. The main reason why I think that, I see you, Justin. I saw that smirk. I won't bore you with technical details, but the ring light often creates this weird, what's called a catch light in your eyes, and it makes you kind of look like an alien. Right? And so these ring lights were popularized in early days of TikTok with the beauty industry. They are practical. You mount the camera inside of it. You can get one for $100. I get why we use them, but oftentimes it actually creates this weird distraction in your eyes that you want to try to avoid. So what do I recommend? If you're doing a simple camera setup where you have it like on a desk situation like this, I would encourage you to get an LED panel. They can be very inexpensive or very expensive. And so you get to decide based on what you're looking for features. But honestly, you can find LED panels for as little as $100. I would recommend doing two. I have one on my right, one on my left, and it's giving me that ring light effect without the alien eyes. If you want to go a little bit further up the budget, and I honestly would not recommend this, but I put it in here just in case someone asks me. This, what you're looking at, is referred to as a cob light. It's got an extremely bright LED chip in it. And then it goes through this like cone thing called a diffuser, which actually softens the light. It's very, very good if you're going to do those more cinematic YouTube videos. These are a couple options you can do, but honestly, I do think Mother Nature is undefeated in this regard. Stand in front of your window, pull out your phone, hit record, and change the world. Now let's move on to the third key here, which is a stable base. So I might be dating myself here, but did anyone watch the Blair Witch Project in the theater? Yeah? What was the hallmark of that movie? the camera shake. I'm so scared right now, right? Like, and it was created. It was shot handheld for a reason. It was trying to create this disoriented, scary POV style. Well, if you're doing that intentionally, cool. I got no opinion for you here. But if you're doing it because you're terrified recording video, like we all are, myself included, if you could only feel my palms right now, team, like it would just gross. Okay, it's a distraction. You want to be able to make sure that people can see you. And if there's camera movement, it's because it's intentional, not unintentional. So the solution to this problem, very simple. Invest in a rock. If you have a rock nearby, you can literally put your phone next to a rock. Yes, I said invest in a rock. Have you ever been to the quarry? You can actually spend money on rocks. It's crazy. Or you could move up the ladder to something like a tripod or a gimbal. Now, this is a gimbal. It's a stabilizer. What it does is it creates the smooth, steady flow. Here's the thing. I think people buy them just like AirPods because they look cool. But in practice, the purpose of the gimbal is really to smooth out movement shots. So if you're going to be one of those people who's going to do a walk around town style walking listicle vehicle or video, like here's 3 things you need to do to blah, 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 then maybe having a gimbal is actually going to be a nice effect because it will steady it. But if you're going to be sitting in a desk, sitting in your office, standing next to something, I honestly am a huge proponent of just getting a tripod. And a couple different options that you can look at here. You can have a small, itty bitty little tripod like this. Matt, this inflection's for you, buddy. This is a tabletop, right? Or you can go to the big leagues, right? A standard one. Now, again, it's amazing. Tripods go from $100 or free on Amazon or on Facebook Marketplace to like $700, $800, $1,000. And so I would just say, again, start with where you're standing and build up from there. So the 4th key principle is camera composition. And there's a couple points I want to share with you here. So can you ask me, I just want to know, like, is this easy for you to pay attention right now? What about like when I change the lights behind me and stuff? Like, can you, no, we want to actually stand directly in front of the camera if we can. And here's a trick. If you want to make eye contact with your viewer, even if they're 100 miles away or in a different country, look down the barrel of the lens. One of the things that we commonly do, especially when we are in selfie mode on our cameras, we end up looking at ourselves. It's like, I don't think we're all narcissists. I just think it's like human nature. If you see your reflection, you're kind of like, yeah, Then you add in a heavy dose of self-criticism and you're lost. Like you've totally lost engagement with the audience. So you want to ideally look down the lens if you can. That's how you make eye contact. Can you notice how I'm making eye contact with you right now? But if I look away, even just a few inches off screen, now it doesn't feel like I'm talking to you. And again, as you begin to practice with this, you're going to find that you sometimes want to look to make a point. And other times you want to be able to express your thoughts and seem more like you're having a natural conversation, but still be able to lock in. The other thing here, and yes, wait, I see the time. You've probably heard of this before if you've done a photography class, but this is called rule of thirds. Rule of thirds, you can actually throw it on your phone. There's a grid that can come on. Ideally, what you want to do is try to place your eyes somewhere, if you can, in one of those thirds. You can mess around with this creativity from a creative standpoint if you want to, but generally speaking, this would be considered a nicely composed shot. You can see it here on TikTok as an example. This would be someone where we're framing them in the center of the frame. Vertical shooting, you're going to see this most of the time, but on occasion, you might actually see somebody is composed in one of the side thirds, which makes it more interesting. In fact, rule of thirds is so powerful, it can even make a dull, boring background like this seem a little bit more interesting. But then when they're playing with it in the big leagues, it also makes things incredibly cinematic. Last step, key number 5, is you think you need to have an expensive camera. The truth is, you don't. There are incredible influencers out there, personal brands, real bricks and mortar businesses that have been built with just a cell phone. And we're talking like iPhone XS here, team. I'm not saying like the latest and greatest, like literally the phone that you have right now is definitely more than adequate. In fact, you might actually be discouraged in a strategy session to use a fancy camera based on your content or who your audience is. So it's something that you actually want to be really aware of. Now, what would I recommend for you is your camera. Here's some camera settings. I will send my slides to Wade. There's a couple of different settings I think are really important. If you are uploading to Instagram, like I saw some of you are in the chat, my understanding, and Justin is probably going to like light me up for all the bad or incorrect things I've said in this presentation, but Instagram likes 30 frames per second. If you record in 60 or you record in 24, there can be some challenges. They also like 1080p instead of 4K. My cinematographer friends will say, well, shoot it in 4K and then export it in 1080 and then upload it. I just think I lost half the audience, including me, saying that. Just shoot it in 1080p, 30 frames per second, upload it. When you learn how to actually export a 4K video into 1080p, call me, because I don't know how to do that. Okay? So here's a few of the settings I would recommend that you do. Please, for the love of all things cinematic, turn off HDR. I don't know why they put it on there, but it's on there. And if you decide, you know what, hey, I'm feeling fancy, I would like a nice camera, here's a couple different options for you. They have some really cool looking, and I'm a Sony guy, but they have, every camera brand has their own version of this. What they would consider to be point and shoot cameras, meaning the lenses don't come off. They're really easy. In fact, this camera right here is the same camera that you're seeing on screen right now. Now, when you compare it to this camera, I think you would see, yeah, there's a difference. But quite honestly, this is a pretty good looking camera, and it's actually the same camera I use for my desktop mount as well. Now, if you want to go up the price budget, yes, you can go with something like this, but again, I would encourage you just to start with your phone. I can see the Toastmasters red light going on. So this is really important, and I think Justin will agree with this. Before gear comes content. And content, can be the subject matter you're talking about, the formats that you're using, the story, of course, that drives it all. And so a lot of us get hung up on the gear part and we never press record. And there's a model, one of my absolute favorite YouTubers of all time is a guy named Ali Abdaal. And by the way, this is a video from a presentation in 2017. So I just want to show you that, it is, again, I'm embarrassed by this video, and yet you just press record and you do it. But Ali Abdaal has this idea of 3 steps to mastery. It's get started, get good, get smart. And what I've found in my coaching practice, regardless of what the subject matter is, whether it's video, whether it's open houses, whether it's blogging, whether it's administrative stuff, everyone wants to begin at level 3. The challenge is that's not how life works. If you are a savant and you just roll out of bed and you are already smart, call me, we want to study you in the lab. Because as far as I know, most people, when they're first starting out at something, you kind of suck, right? And that's just the natural progression. So I'm a big encourager of getting started, get good, get smart. So here's my challenge for you, team, is I want to encourage you to post a talking head selfie video. I'm going to say Instagram. Hopefully everyone here gets down on the gram, but if not, we can figure something else out. But I want you to put some of these practices into play, record a video, and tag me on your Instagram. If you do 1, 2, and 3, I will reach out to you and I will ask you, what's your budget? What are your needs? What's your skill? And I will personally put together a light microphone, stabilizer, you name it. I'll put it all there for you. And please, because I wish they were Amazon affiliate links, but they're not. So, it's okay if you spend $100. But if I had my Amazon affiliate set up, just so you know, everything would start at 10 grand. Okay? Just to be fully transparent. No, I'm kidding. Wade, that's what I have for you today. I'd love to open the floor to any questions. Curious to know if you could put in the chat right now, if there was one thing from today's presentation that did resonate with you, what is it? Over to you, Wade.
Thanks, Braden. That was incredible. So much value. And really tangible stuff as well. And what I love about what both you and Justin were talking about is the moral of the story here is that you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Of course, you have an incredible setup. I mean, who here has seen a Zoom call where people are changing the camera direction mid-conversation? I mean, Braden has...
I was waiting for this moment. Wade, ready?
To an incredible level.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, he got his own DJ horn. What?
This guy, every time I'm on a call with him, he's leveling up. But he didn't start there, right? He talked about the fact that you graduate to that point, those 3 steps. Start going, then get good, then get smart. Matt, you have a question?
It's more of a comment. Just that was incredible, Braden. I think is the exact reason why practice what you preach, because you do this day in, day out. I, have had the chance to know you for a few years now, and I've talked to you many times on calls like this, and this is a testament. You've always been great, but this is the greatest I think you are. And that is just the testament to the practice and you starting, and you're going to continue to level up. And you've got the video on the side now that you never had before. You've got different camera angles you didn't have. You're leveling up, but you continue. I guess my question is, how long would it take you to prepare for today?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Okay, so my mad creator, I just want to show you, this is the thing that gets me in trouble with my wife. This is of all the tech that I bought, this is the one that she's like, did you really have to do that? So anyways, let me answer that question while my TV's spinning around. $800 I'll never see again. I've been thinking about this presentation all week. Justin sent me his notes, and thank you, Justin. Chef's kiss. And I literally pulled out ChatGPT. And I'm sorry, Wade, if this is unprofessional, but I believe that all progress begins by telling the truth. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I pulled out my phone this morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I had a 15-minute chat with ChatGPT voice, and I told them what what I wanted the objective was. I told them about Justin's presentation, what this is about, who's in the room, etc. Here's what are the points I want to hit. It gave me my outline. I built that in Canva in about 25 minutes, and that was the process. So I spent about 35 minutes, and I started this morning.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say, because of what I learned from you in your business coaching, and that is you have to think smarter and you have to realize that your time is your money and to be strategic with how you work it. And that's a perfect example of why AI is here for us and is helping us. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Rich.
Actually, my entire speech is just hand language.
Yeah.
So Braden, the best presentation I've ever seen, most dynamic. I just want to say thank you, because I'm going to try to learn everything that you did and adopt it, and it will have a tremendous impact on my courage to share the story and hopefully lead to more people championing it. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I think that in-screen presentation, I've never seen that before. So thank you.
Rich, I really appreciate that. Wade, if I may, a couple of years ago, I started getting inquiries to do some professional speaking where I'd have to travel to. And the first one was like, people are going to pay me for this? This seems like it feels criminal, actually, that you move your mouth and people pay you for it. And the second one came in, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then the third one came in, and I actually felt really anxious about it. And after unpacking it, I realized two things. One, I'm a homebody. And two, I'm extremely codependent on my wife. Fact. If you met my wife, you would be codependent on her too. Anyways, I realized I didn't want to travel to do this. And so I made a decision a year ago, and I'm a long ways away from it, but what would have to be true in order for me to create Zoom meeting experiences or online education that doesn't suck or bore you to death? And that's when I bought the switcher. That's when I bought the monitor. That's when I bought some of the sound effects, because I want to be able to do this, make an impact for you in your life and your business. You go home to your family, and me later today go home to mine. And so I just want to share that with you a little bit about my story, because I don't actually want to travel to speak a lot. I want to be able to do this at home or at my office and then go home and spend time on Vancouver Island. Yeah, thank you for that.
I love that, Braden. And, Suraj had brought this up in the second session, and I think it's so important, right? Because this is an element, and I think that, we really saw this happen when COVID first happened, and then all of a sudden we all went to virtual and everyone was figuring out Zoom. But you saw a lot of the keynote speakers who were doing their presentations from their living room, and those who leveled up, who took the steps that Braden is taking, they were the ones who really set themselves apart quickly. So there is still ways that you can create very engaging content, but like Braden said, it starts with the content at the core. Sherry, over to you.
Hi, Braden.
Hi, Sherry.
So I started following you after I remember meeting at one of the activates, and I've laughed out loud at some of your videos. They're just so funny. Your storytelling, and it's just a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And what I liked hearing you reiterate is the be yourself. I know that seems like such a simple thing, but when it comes to presenting online or in person, it is hard to unlearn thinking you're supposed to be a certain way in front of an audience. And what I loved watching here was you just being yourself, like just using how you used your body, how you used your facial expressions, the humor that you've done. I love that you demonstrated the things you wanted us to learn to prove why this isn't good and why this is all of that just makes it for a memorable lesson learning experience. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. I have a follow-up question for you. if I may. I'm curious, why do you think we feel so compelled to be someone that we're not, whether it's on camera or even in social situations? I mean, I'm seeing my in-laws tomorrow, and I'm like, already the program is firing up for like in-law version of me, and it is interesting, right? I'm curious, what is driving that for you?
I think that is a lot of me being in spaces where I feel like I need to be on, because there's a lot of networking that's going. I don't know people. And to be honest with you, what people observe isn't always what I feel like. I actually like being in very small groups, one-on-one conversations, going deep, versus being in big groups with like doing a whole bunch of small talk.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't observe that of me, like if you just saw me for the first time. But I think it's because I have that internally in me that when I think about, and I think that you're also hit by so many like great speakers. So you see it all and you want to emulate it all. You emulate the things that you love.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening, at least for me, is it gets all jumbled up into, oh, whoa, like what's me? Like what do I do? Like how is my style? Like a question, I think Anil brought it up. It's like he can be casual, kind of when approaching speaking situations. I'm a very casual speaker, but sometimes I feel like I'm in front of audiences where I need to be more formal.
Yeah.
And so that's a bit of the struggle for me, because then I don't feel like I'm being myself. And so, and I know that doesn't relate to the practice piece.
Yeah.
It's just more my style of speaking is more casual and more conversational. And I feel like there's some moments where I feel like I don't know if that's the right thing for that crowd, because I'm trying to respond to what I think that crowd needs.
And I won't drop an F-bomb, but I was going to say, well, to heck with that crowd. Like, I think it's about finding your audience, honestly. Like, Gary Vee has been in and out inspiration for me for over a decade. He's not very polished. It seems to work for him. So yeah, I hear you on that. And it sounds very biased, but I believe in therapy. My wife's a new therapist, but I had a significant mental health crisis last February. My PR team calls it my unplanned unraveling. Wade, every time I say that, has to take a shot, because he's heard me talk about this so many times. But through that, what I would tell you is in therapy, and I hate using these therapy. Every time I use a therapy term like be my authentic self, I want to punch myself in the face. But nonetheless, learning that authentic self, and like what they refer to in the therapy world is like sense of self. I realized that most of my life I had no idea who I really was or why I was the way I was. And when I started cultivating that sense of self, you know what? I'm going to drop one F-bomb. My give a fuck level of what other people think of me is not gone, but it is marketably lower. And so that would be one of those things that I would encourage people to do, is like, you're perfectly imperfect. All of us are. Right. And we try to be these like conformists and what are the people that bend everywhere? It's contortionists. Thank you, Wade. And I'm just so over that, and I would invite you and everyone here to think about like, what would it look like to just be me? And what I've learned is I lose a few clients. I lose a few friends. I lose a few relationships. And then when I really take a big picture view on it, I go, well, were those really my friendships in the first place? No, that was fake me's friendships. So, anyways.
Thank you.
Appreciate
that.
Thank you.
Can I just chime in here?
Please.
It's interesting, and I think what I'm about to say probably resonates primarily based on what we do on me and Sherry, but in the work that we do, it's and actually Rich, in your work too, I think we are trying to find donors for organizations that we represent, and that sort of that everything you just said is the way I want to operate. But the challenge, particularly in fundraising, is sometimes you are out there having conversations with folks that may not fully be on that same page, and so it's just, I'm getting better though at being like, you know what? Actually, I don't know if I don't even want your money actually. So there is that, but it's getting there, I think is important. And it's just being aware of that.
Totally. And I believe that life is just one big experiment. As ironic as it sounds as a business coach, I don't really believe in goal planning. I believe in vision setting and then experimenting, because the idea that we're going to know exactly where we are turn for turn over the next 10 years is ludicrous. So to me, following your energy, following your passion, your curiosity, your energy, etc., is the experiment piece. And what I would throw to you is like, what if you split test the next 20 people you talk to? 10 of them, you do how you normally do. And another 10, you try approaching it a little bit more yourself and see what the data tells you. And that way it's less of a leap of faith and it's more of an experiment.